Sai Ram, everyone, and welcome back to episode 2 of Journey with Sai. Today we're joined here with our beloved Uncle Chris, who we all see in the center, always so lovingly helping everyone and, playing his guitar and the tambourine as well. So, Uncle, who is this Uncle Chris that we all know and love?
I'm just a humble devotee, and just like everyone else, traveling, finding an answer to who I am.
And with finding, who you are, how did you come and, join Swami and, start to find yourself there?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a long journey, and I was born into a family of mixed religions. My mother was a Catholic, and my father was a Buddhist, and so we were brought up as Catholics. And sent to a Jesuit boarding school. So Jesuit boarding schools are known for discipline. And because it was always a mix in the home, my mother used to do all of the things that, had to be done for the temple, Buddhist temples. And my father, of course, was, kind of took care of us, in all the Catholic events, Christmas, all that. And so it was just a very coordinated effort, in between our parents. Then went to law school.
Okay.
And I met my wife, who was a Swami devotee. I kind of to go with her to the Sai Center in Colombo, and I was invited by Dr. Pillai, who was chairperson of who at the center, and there were a number of times that he invited me to come in, during bhajans.
Okay.
But I wasn't impressed, because I thought Swami was just another Indian guru, and I've seen so many gurus who obviously wasn't the pious people on earth. And but then we came over to Australia in 1984.
Okay.
And so it is after that that I was I found Swami, all through my wife, of course.
That's really interesting, Uncle. Seems like you grew up, experiencing different religions and then, finding your way to Swami. Is there, anything that you think, are similar in terms of Swami's teaching and Buddhism or, Catholicism as well?
Yeah, I mean, Catholicism, the type of Catholicism that we were taught in school was very, it was all about external things. Going to church, saying prayers, and you wake up, you say a prayer, you uh, go to, then you go to mass in the morning for studies, prayers, before breakfast prayers, after breakfast prayers. It was the whole time prayers, prayers, and prayers. And for the least, the smallest excuse, we end up in church. So I got really tired of that's not the teachings of Christ that I later came to know through Swami, as a matter of fact. I don't think there's any difference in what Christ teaches and what Swami teaches, but I found what Swami teaches to be more profound. And what he says, he puts it so simply that even a child can understand. So that's something that I found very helpful and very useful for my own journey, which is what I was trying to what I was looking for.
That's so true, Uncle. Yeah, Swami does really put it really simply. Were there any similarities between Buddhism and Swami's teachings that you maybe recognize?
So one of the turning points in my journey, from because I became very interested in Buddhism. I read about Buddhism, and there was a friend of mine who gave me a book, What the Buddha Taught. It was a thesis written by one of the Buddhist monks for his PhD, I think at Sorbonne University in Paris. And so what the gist of what I learned about the Buddha, the Buddha's teachings, is that at a certain point he says, when you really understand what religion is about, that you don't see any difference between up or down, north or south. In other words, that it's a kind of balance point that you come to realize makes no difference, right? And so I was kind of quite intrigued by that teaching. And so one day my wife, used to, I was attracted to bhajans, and that's the reason I went to the Elwood Center, which was run by Mark and Caroline Proctor. And so Mark had put up some pamphlets about Swami sayings. So I wasn't interested in the lots of books and things like that. And I went and picked up that little pamphlet which read, "Faith is a state of being beyond both certainty and doubt, unaffected by the alternations of opposites. It is the balance point uh, of equilibrium where all suffering ceases." And I thought, good heavens, I've been reading this book for 20 years, right, to get to a point where I came to realize about this, balance point. Uh, and here's some person saying it in 4 lines. And I thought, who is this person? Who could he be? What the great Buddha taught in volumes and volumes, he's just putting it in 4 lines, which I understood. And so I think that was the turning point where I started inquiring about Swami and Swami's teachings.
Wow, Uncle, that sounds like such a profound experience. And there are plenty of Swami's teachings that he has put so easily. So, Uncle, Swami's teachings are just so pervasive into our entire life. Have you been able to practice or put in Swami's teachings into your daily life and your work, as a lawyer?
Definitely, certainly, it's been the kind of work I do because I'm a family lawyer. I see a lot of sadness, that affect people's lives, and also the fact that I work in community legal setup where we provide free services. We can see the amount of need that they have with the kind of work we do, because the family law, particularly things relating to children and parenting, they've reached a point of absolute distress, and sometimes the opportunities that we get to help them out of those situations uh, gives enormous satisfaction, and particularly when we don't have to charge them a fee, and or putting it sort of placing some monetary value on the kind of work we do. It is, I consider that as a great blessing that Swami has given me, and I get enormous satisfaction out of the kind of work I do.
That's so amazing, Uncle. Swami says, "Love all and serve all," and you
Definitely.
really embody that in your
Of
work
course,
as well.
yeah, it's something that you can really put into practice. Those, the basic sayings: "Love all, serve all, help ever, hurt never." And there are times that you can, some people are not very courteous, or when you're trying to help them, you feel that they don't appreciate what's being done. As a matter of fact, there was a man in court the other day who was referred to me. I don't know whether he was had used drugs. He came and sat in front of me and started threatening me. And um, in fact, I thought he was going to assault me because he probably was under the influence of something, obviously. But I kind of, at a certain point when he was threatening me, I thought of Swami and I smiled. And, I had the feeling that, what can you do to me, right? And then he got even angrier and said, "You're smiling, are you? You're smiling." And I said, "Well, I'm just trying to help you by having you go at me." And the man said, "Oh, so you don't know what having a go at you means, is it?" And the emergency, the buzzer was on the wall near him. So if I tried to cross over to press that, he would have definitely done something to me. And but I kind of managed to calm him down. And so there are people like that, in the work we do. It's not easy, but it's rewarding.
Yeah, it sounds, so difficult sometimes to bring Swami's teachings, into your real life, and especially when you're faced with such tough situations. But it's
Yes.
so amazing that you managed to do it, and it gives us a lot of faith as youth, looking up and saying that we can do it too, and apply it into our daily lives. Has there been any other experiences that you have had where you have felt Swami's presence in your daily life at the center, things like that?
One of the things that, I didn't know Swami, I got to know him much, much later, but I know he has probably saved my life because I've done, as a young man, done reckless things, and I'm pretty sure I shouldn't be alive. And so those are things that I kind of, that I think where Swami was present in my life and I didn't know about it. And but I finally, when I went to Patti, I kind of quickly in the morning, I got ready. I was so excited. And I went and sat there. And so they were singing bhajans. And at that time, I was so fond of that bhajan, Hey Anatha Natha Sai. And so they sang one bhajan. And I thought, oh, how nice would it be if they sang Hey Anatha Natha Sai. And the very next bhajan was Hey Anatha Natha Sai. And that was amazing. I mean, that was reassured me that he was, even though I was just another person sitting there, that he takes everyone seriously.
Wow, uncle, that's just so amazing, isn't it?
Certainly is, yeah.
Is this one of the bhajans that you would say, has changed, or like has been a crucial part in your life?
I love all
No.
bhajans. I mean, and not only to sing bhajans, but to listen. And it's been a privilege that we have such good, bhajan singers at our center.
Just like yourself, uncle. Would
Well,
you be able to maybe sing us a few lines of the bhajan if you're up
yeah,
for it?
yeah, I certainly can. And so it goes like this. हे अनाथ नाथ साई तुम हो अंतर्यामी तुम हो मेरे भगवान तुम हो मेरे भगवान.
Wow, uncle, that was so beautiful. You don't even need any harmonium or anything like that. Where did
Ah,
you learn to sing so beautifully, uncle?
here at the center.
Did you have any formal training before, or just?
Yeah, in the school,
Mhm.
because we were a Catholic school, uh, I had to, the church itself was, the time I went to school, there was a Latin mass. So
Mhm.
everything was done in Latin, the hymns, all of that. And I was in the school choir. And even my mother was, and my grandmother, they're very, musical, musically gifted people. So not my father, of course. And so I grew up in a family where there was a lot of music. Yeah.
That's really interesting, uncle. So, uncle, has coming to bhajans, actively singing bhajans, has it had any effect in changing your spiritual journey, or getting to know more about yourself?
Certainly has. I mean, I'm reminded of Krishna playing the
Mm.
flute, how it attracted the gopis and, and lots of other people who would have heard Krishna playing. And so I used to come with my wife, drop her off uh, at the Praran Center, which was, just not very far from here, and go and stay in my car. And because she would beg of me to bring her for bhajans. And I said, what a nuisance. And the footy was on, and I wanted to watch footy instead of that. And but then I heard the bhajans. And so I kind of would get out of my car, take a few steps, listen, and go back. And then I ended up at the doorstep. And after some time, I ended up sitting there And as soon as Arati starts, I didn't like the Arati, people jumping up and down. And I would go back and think, what are these people doing? And but that was my journey, and it's just the bhajans that brought me to, in real effect, brought me to Swami. And now, what happens with bhajans here, and the other voices of so many fantastic bhajan singers here. And the bhajans made huge difference in my journey to Swami, definitely.
I really, kind of understand when you say that, in younger days, it's easy to get distracted by things like footy and, a lot of other things as well. Would you have any advice for, the youth of today? Is there, do you have any advice for them of how they should, improve or change or, do things in a certain way that would help them in the spiritual journey?
I mean, one of the things that, the way Swami has attracted young people, it amazes me at a time when people are leaving churches and temples in droves. Swami has managed people like you. You are here. I'm amazed that you are, you would have been doing other things outside, more, kind of things that interest you. But instead of that, we find so many young people, beautiful young people, who are in Swami's fold. And so there's magic in Swami's way of drawing them in. And the best advice I can give young people is, this is your path. And Swami is the way. Don't let go.
No, definitely, Uncle. Swami has, his ways of bringing the youth back into his fold, keeping them within his fold. And yeah, like you said, I personally, had that experience of, Swami bringing me back and realizing, in a foreign country, where, you sometimes feel all alone, and then you come to the center, you feel that sense of community, the support from all the amazing, elders, youth, everyone, just coming together to support you. It's just such an environment to be in and such a amazing thing to experience as a youth. And I think that's maybe one of the reasons that I come back to the center very often. So I think I had the opportunity to go to the Thursday service just a week or two ago, just to see the number of youth there, present helping out, in just huge quantities, of people was just so reassuring to see, especially when, like you said, there's so much distractions today. And I think from us youth, we do look up to, uncles and aunties like yourself, for guidance and advice. And, we look up to see that y'all have completed so much. And we, we're constantly, wanting to get to know more about y'all and also to learn from y'all. Before we end, Uncle, all of us at the center here have, tremendous and amazing opportunities to hear you sing, you know. But I don't think everyone in the audience has that amazing opportunity. Would you be able to maybe, sing a bhajan so that we can serenade our loving audience listening to this video?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just one of the singers, but I'll try my best, and I'll comply with your kind request. I will sing a bhajan.
Thank you so much, Uncle.
What would you like me to sing?
Whichever bhajan that you hold closest to your heart, Uncle. Your favorite bhajan, if you had one.
Well, I'll sing Hey Anath Nath Sai.
That would be amazing.
Hey Anath Nath Sai, tum ho antarayami, tum ho mere Bhagavan, tum ho mere Bhagavan, din dukh bhanjan सहारा दो मुझे, ओ मेरे साईं भगवान, ओ मेरे साईं भगवान, हृदय मंदिर में आओ साईं मेरे, दीजो कृपा वरदान, दीजो कृपा वरदान, तुम हो मेरे भगवान, तुम हो मेरे भगवान.
Wow, Uncle. That was so beautiful.
Thank you.
And what a way to end this episode of our journey with Sai. Thank you so much for being a part of this interview, Uncle. We really appreciate it.
Thank you all.
And
thank you very much.
thank you all listeners for
Sai
joining.
Ram.
And Sai Ram, see you next time.